against this deck.
Yeah. We saw in the opening round of this tournament, Savitz actually beat Kolento with a Paladin deck. He beat this Warlock deck with a Paladin deck, so I think this is definitely going to be the best choice. Paladin, it's a deck that does have answers to all the weird kind of mid-range creatures that Warlock has. It has especially Equality Consecrate, which can clear any type of board. Like we saw on the last board that Warrior was dealing with. If that board was against the Paladin would be like, okay, I'll just Equality Consecrate
and I'll be done with it. Yeah,
exactly.
And it's kind of a weird situation right now because like I just saw Kolento get the Mortal Coil off the top, and to be honest with you, if you'd asked me a second ago, is there a Mortal Coil in this deck, I would have told you no.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen that Mortal Coil in any of the games.
I mean, it's one of those cards where I'm like, where do you find the room? And apparently it fits.
This is pretty awkward.
You still have to do it. You gotta do what you gotta do. And there's a Twilight Drake coming out, though. I mean, do you play... I guess he does. He doesn't have any demons, so why play the Void Caller? I like the fact that he's got 2 4-drops that can be just, you know, played and forgotten about. They both require silencing in order to negate. And that gives him a backup plan in case one of them doesn't go well.
Yeah, there's just so many silence targets in this deck that you're kind of overwhelmed sometimes. You want to silence the Twilight Drakes, the Sneeds, the Rubian Eggs, and the Void Callers, and you just can't do that all. Like, are you going to fit like 10 silences in your deck? Probably not, right?
I mean, I think Druid is the only class that can put that many in with the Keeper of the Grove and whatnot. And now the Void Caller can bring out a Void Caller.
That's not terrible.
Demon Deception.
I was talking to Kolento one time, and we were talking about Handlock and specifically Mortal Coils, and I asked him, what do you think about Mortal Coils and Handlock? He's like, Mortal Coils are like really important just because Twilight Drake is very often your turn 4 play, and your opponent's turn 5 play is more often than not a Sludge Belcher.
Sludge Belcher, yeah.
Yeah, so basically this Mortal Coil allows your Twilight Drake to trade into a Sludge Belcher and kill it cleanly, and that was like kind of typical Kolento insight. It's like you don't think of that especially, but now that he mentions it, it's such a common situation.
Yeah, I think it's fairly obvious that that's the only reason cutting coils can be a problem, but still sometimes you'll be cutting 1. It's just one of those, like the 4 attack of the Twilight Drake, like, you know, there's a huge difference between 5 attack and 4 attack. Like if you had a 5-mana 5/6 vanilla minion, I wouldn't doubt that it would see play. You know, like if you upscale the Yeti by 1/1, like +1/+1, it would see a lot of play. Just because of the extra, it has more health than a Stranglethorn Tiger, and it's got enough attack to kill a Sludge Belcher.
I think that's one of the reasons the piloted Sky Golem has become more popular than Karin lately, just because it overshoots that 5 attack threshold by a bit. So that piloted Sky Golem can kill things such as the Sludge Belcher, such as the Lothebs, and even Savannah Highmanes. That Karin cannot
possibly deal with in any case. Yeah, definitely. It's happened quite often where you just can't deal with it very effectively. And Kolento here played very nicely. He had an opportunity to trade one of the Void Callers to get either a free Void Caller or a free Doomguard, and instead he opted to play a second Void Caller to guarantee that what would come out of this is a Doomguard. And I think that's going to pay off.
The Armor Smith. Massan's like, wait, didn't I lose with Warrior already?
Oh, please tell me I don't have to go through this again.
I mean,
alright, this Dark Iron Dwarf, hyper effective.
Dark Iron Dwarf is another way for creatures to trade with Sludge Belchers effectively, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that's what Kolento's aiming for. He's got a pretty good array of minions that have 3 attack in this deck.
You can even summon a Doomguard right now.
Yeah, exactly. Trade the 3/3 away and the 3/5. But the question is, do you have to? Because, I mean, what are you going to get off the Doomguard? Kill the Armorsmith?
I think you still want the Doomguard to come out on your own turn rather than your opponent's turn, though, just to utilize that charge.
Yeah, of course.
If it comes down on your opponent's turn, then you basically just have a vanilla 5/7 instead of a 5/7 that can charge your opponent.
So Doomguard does come out, and I mean, Kolento's board again very, very strong. I think Paladin has generally an easier time of dealing with mid-range, but at the moment this is not showing.
Yeah, Kolento once again, he got all the all the threats that he needed. Basically, the Void Callers act as kind of replacements for your Mountain Giants. So he
Yeah.
basically got like a Twilight Drake and 2 Void Callers, which is kind of equivalent to a Twilight Drake and 2 Mountain Giants. Except the Void Callers are even more difficult to deal with than the Mountain Giants.
Alright, so what are we looking at here? There is no Void Color value, but a top deck could change that. Alright, that doesn't change anything. He's gonna just BGH it off of the Abusive Sergeant. Yep, he does, and that's goodbye Tyrion.
Yeah, sounds like, I thought my deck didn't have any BGH targets. I mean, I better cut all the minions in my deck that have more than 4 attack.
Yeah, and I really like this addition of the Abusive Sergeant, and because I mean Kolento is running 2 BGHs, and he also has, I think, no BGH targets of his own in the deck. So what he's got is a BGH immune deck that also can force non-BGH targets to become BGH targets. So he's essentially comboing the Abusive Sergeant and the Dark Iron Dwarf in multiple ways with the eggs, for instance, or the Void Caller as a really good play to kill Sludge Belchers. So he's you know, dipping into multiple synergies in the deck just to get that versatility. And I think this is a really, really strong, you know, trademark of this specific Warlock deck. It's so versatile.
Definitely. And also, Noxious, remember when I said, like, if the last game, like the Warrior board, the Warlock board against the Warrior, I was like, if this were a Paladin, the Paladin would be able to easily Equality Consecrate it. Well, we see almost the same exact board from the Warlock player, and Equality Consecrate is not in Massan's hand, so he can't actually deal with this either.
Yeah, he doesn't have the answers in hand, but I mean, he generally, more often than not, would have them. But at the moment, he doesn't. So, how much damage does Kolento have? He's got 7, 8, 9, 10. So he's 7 off of lethal. He's got 4 from, I think, getting a Dark Bomb off of a life tap would be amazing. Another Power Whelming would be amazing. He's got a few outs, I think, for...
Even a Doomguard would be pretty amazing. So a lot of outs. If Kolento taps, he has a lot of options to just win the game straight up.
Yeah, I think he's got like 4 to 5 cards left that can just win the game right now.
I think a Silence would also win, just because it would silence Doomguard, yeah.
Yeah, he's got like 6 outs off that tap. That was crazy.
I mean, getting a Nerubian Spider off this egg is also a pretty good value for Power Overwhelming.
Yeah, off of a Shadow Flame, I'll take that. Count me in, 4 damage, Shadow Flame, go. Oh, Murloc!
Yep,
Okay.
Unfortunately, Kolento does not run any Hungry Crabs right now.
Anti-Killbot. I mean, this is a mandatory play, I guess. Equality. I mean, this is... Does Massan even have a way to make this game last?
He'll be back at 11 HP, and he'll be able to clear...
It depends on whether or not he decides to equality right now. I mean, if he does an equality, then...
I think he has to equality. Or,
yeah, I think he has to equality first. I mean, he could silence off his own Murloc just to make sure that the health stays up, but... And he can trade multiple times, but I don't...
Yeah, this doesn't feel good. Equality without a Concentrate?
Yeah, you can't possibly like that. And,
At least he's not dead on board.
yeah, but there's a leftover 6 damage from Kolento. He's 1 off of lethal, and he's got 6 outs at least that we mentioned, and that is one of them.
That's an out.
Yeah, that's an out, and Kolento will take the game. The unusual, unorthodox Warlock deck from Kolento, really doing well in this tournament. I'm actually really happy to see something new. I think this is the first